Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Going Dark podcast. This is episode 20. And Chop, number one, how are you doing? And number two, we got a little special guest in the house today.
Yes, we do. Yeah, this is episode 20, which is pretty crazy. We're already this far, and any longtime viewers of mine will know that we got a absolute legend with us here in the building today. This is Mr. Ben, CodeNamePizza. Round of applause,
I'm here.
everybody.
We don't have any sound effects. My bad, brother.
we go way back. We go way back. So it is an absolute honor and a pleasure to have you on today. And I think everybody watching is incredibly excited to have you on here too. So first of all, how are you doing, man?
I'm very, very good. I'm excited. I'm tired, but I'm excited to be on the podcast and see where this conversation takes us.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
think we didn't get to see you at COD Next, which I was sad about because I feel like a lot of our discussion today will be probably what we would have talked about at COD Next as well.
Yeah.
So now it's good to have this opportunity. But I guess I just want to start off by asking, um, given that you've played Terminus and you're still waiting to play Liberty Falls, just from what you've seen, what is your take on the whole situation with the whole community is like this right now? Like,
Yeah,
what do you think
absolutely.
of that whole situation that's going on with Liberty Falls?
I'm looking at the Liberty Falls stuff as if we've not seen everything with Liberty Falls, because when we played Terminus, I know for a fact we did not see the whole of Terminus.
Mhm.
Like when we went to the shipwreck, there is a room fully locked that we can't get into. That will be part of the main quest. And I think the exact same thing is going to take place with Liberty Falls. There'll be so much of the map that we had no access to, or you guys didn't have access to at COD Next.
Mhm.
And the way that I'm looking at it is there will be that extra bit, but also we've got potential where the further you go through the map, the more it changes, the more aesthetically pleasing it might turn. Um, and I said this the other day during a live stream, and someone said, well, that shouldn't happen during an Easter egg. That's not fair for people that don't do Easter eggs. It might not be based around the quest. It might be based around, like Nuketown, where you just do
Yeah.
rounds and like different stuff happens, perks drop in, and we hear quotes. Maybe that's
Round
the same with
25, the
this.
zombie eyes change.
Exactly. That might be similar to Liberty Falls, but it was all under lock and key. And they just reverted it to a bare bones map for COD Next, which is terrible marketing, by the way. But you know,
I do find it
it's
odd that they
potential.
had us play Liberty Falls at COD Next, and I think it's a good point because, I mean, even in the Liberty Falls trailer, it seems like there's significantly more to the map. There appears to be this whole like underground section. I just think that there's a little more going on than we realize, and I think that's for certain. The map itself, like I understand why people are annoyed at it in some sense, but also it's like we're playing a build of the map that is very clearly bare bones, incredibly stripped down just for the like COD Next showcase, which again, I agree. I don't know why they didn't show off Terminus at COD Next or like
Yeah.
allow us to play that. But
I see that, yeah, but it, the way that I looked at it is that 250 creators playing a map early is crazy. Like we had like 12, 16 people playing Terminus,
mhm,
and we weren't allowed to show our own gameplay.
right.
So clearly there's stuff there that doesn't need to be seen yet, and they don't want people to see yet. We've talked about it, but I think Liberty Falls might be the bonus map. There's less to it.
Sure.
There's less for it to go wrong with it at Next, and that's why they could have risked more maybe than Terminus. I think Terminus is a massive selling point, but it's just weird that they've used Liberty Falls as the marketing strategy with Black Ops 6
Yeah,
basically with
especially
COD
given that
Next.
it's kind of bare bones as well. Tyler,
Yeah.
I don't know if you had any impressions on Liberty Falls being like
Boring.
too like yeah, maybe. I think the number one thing that I'm seeing right now, I even made a video about it last night, is that all of the aura, you might say, or all of the atmosphere and vibe that you get when learning a new zombies map is gone in some way. And I was talking about this in my video, and I think a lot of it, in my opinion, weirdly has to do not all of it, but some of it has to do with the mini map. I think having a
Yeah.
mini map in zombies,
I don't
I
like
kind of
that.
just like, started ignoring it in Cold War. I hardly even recognize it's there, because it's not useful. A mini map in
Mhm.
multiplayer is useful because it allows you to see things and make judgments based on what you can't physically see. and enemies can move intelligently. They'll go wherever. But zombies always come to you anyway. So why the hell do I have a mini map just
Well,
to? I can't do anything with the information that it gives me. And you know, you couldn't turn it off in Cold War, but they allow you to turn it off in Black Ops 6. I
oh,
just
good,
feel like
good.
I feel like it should be off by default.
Yeah,
Just because I don't get the point.
I told you this the other day when I think it was last week or the week after we came back from COD Next. I feel like as a casual zombies player, the loadout stuff I don't like, and not starting with a pistol and not having the boards, the zombies come out and like it just, I always thought that was great because it brought like that intensity of like, okay, I need to figure out what door I need to unlock, what gun, or should I get a gun? And then I think same thing with the mini map. It's like, all right, I knew where the box was. A part of the experience back in the day was, where the heck is the box? Obviously the first one was always kind of given to you. You knew it was behind it. Even World at War, the first map, when you first played it, you didn't know that that one door was
The box, like,
the
behind
box
the
door.
health
You could have went up
Yeah.
the steps. You could have went up another way. And I think knowing where the box is right off the rip, I'm like, all right, well, that kind of gets rid of another part of like, okay, where's the box? How do I get a better gun? It just eliminates the stress. And I don't know if you want to be stressed while you're gaming, but maybe it's a bad word, but like there needs to be
It
some sort
eliminates
of
the risk reward.
yeah, there needs to be some sort of tension in the game mode, and there's not, because you can see where the zombies are on the mini map, you can see where the buy is, you can see where just about like the money signs. I don't even know what they stand for, but
The essence.
yeah. So I'm just like
doors are like a silly thing. Like, number one, you pointed out in
like
our last
laser,
episode
like
that
Star Wars.
the laser doors are weird. Not only because, like, why the hell are there laser doors, but also you can see right through them.
I know what's
Part
over
of
there.
Yeah, part of the risk reward in old zombies was like the debris. You literally, like, for the most part, couldn't physically see behind it.
Yeah.
So you didn't really know it was waiting for you on the other side. Just being able to
Yeah.
see right through the laser doors is like, okay, well, I know I can see the damn church down there, pack a punches, 40 feet away. I don't really risk reward anything here. I think that's a really good point that I didn't consider before. So I don't know what they do about that. I don't know if just changing it to debris would help that much. But getting rid of the mini map, I think, would be big because you kind of want to, like, when you're learning a new zombies map, you want to kind of like learn your route through the map. Like, I go this door first, and then I go this door. There's a wall gun here that's pretty solid, but if you pass up on that, you can get the mystery box instead. Also, loadouts, to your point, in a way, I mean, this Cold War had this problem too, but in a way, the loadouts make the mystery box almost pointless. Like, why would you go out of your way to get a mystery box weapon if the most optimal weapon is already in your hand? You just
Yeah.
need to,
Yeah.
upgrade it.
Yeah.
Cold War never really solved that problem. The only incentive to hit the box really is wonder weapons. And even then, traditionally, a lot of them have quests associated to get them anyhow. So,
And
like,
I
kinda-
started with the XM4, and the XM4
Yeah.
is like one of the best guns in the game. So like I said, we made it to like level 20, and I
Yeah.
feel like I didn't even have to really do anything. I pack a punched once and was just kind
So-
of running around.
So Pizza, what would you do about, if given your choice, what would you do about, like,
Okay.
the loadout system? Would you keep it? Would you revert it or, like, adjust it in some way? Like, what
So-
is your approach to that?
So I've spoken to a lot of people recently. So my opinion, I think the best we've ever had is Black Ops 4. I think you have a very limited selection that you can pick from, and from each class you get like one rifle, you get like one shotgun, like a few pistols. And
As
that's
in
like
starting weapons.
you get to choose what you
Yeah.
want.
Mhm.
At that point, then it makes the incentive there to still go and hit the mystery box, go and use war weapons, right? I see the other end of the spectrum with people that are going for camo grinding though. Camo grinding is massive with this kind of stuff. Like, you can spawn with anything, get everything up to gold, come back into another game and keep going. Black Ops 4 camo grind was rough, but I see both ends of the thing with people there. I would prefer it to be Black Ops 4 based or just a starting pistol, but you've still got the people inside of the chat constantly like, you can start with the starting pistol. if
I
you want."
know.
It's not the same.
It's not the same.
To unpack the other stuff that you said, in terms of mini map, you are correct. I think it should be default turned off. And then I think that the only reason why a map is even usable in any circumstance, it should either be in guided mode, just on, and not available in normal mode. And the only other time I ever use it is when you're speedrunning and you're trying to find the last zombie. That's it.
Yeah.
I can't think of any other reason why when I
that's a
use
good
it.
solution. I wonder if they would like consider implementing that. Like imagine standard mode, no minimap. You can't even turn it on.
Yeah.
If you're playing standard mode, it should be off. If you're playing guided mode, give people a minimap. I think that's actually a perfect solution.
Yeah.
I don't think it needs to be on in standard mode at all.
Chop,
at this point.
can I interrupt? What is
Yeah,
the
go
Black Ops 4 setup? Like, I know you just said that. Like, what do you get? Because I honestly can't remember.
As in like starting loadout.
Yeah, like I thought
like,
that was pistol. Was that not pistol?
Well, you do have a pistol. You have the Strife. Like that is your traditional starting pistol. But then you also have the option for like the SOG, the Welling, which is like a different version of the pistol. The SOG like SMG. It's not super strong. I believe you can start with like the Winchester. I don't remember what that's called, like the Essex or something. Yeah. So you have like, I don't know.
It's the reverse. It's why don't we start with the pistol, and if you want to load out, you can get it. But we want to start with a pistol. It's kind of like that.
Yeah, well, like the guns aren't so different that they're gonna make a drastic change. Like the SOG is honestly not that much better than the Strife in all reality. So like you can use these different variants for sure. And I think that's a good point. Like imagine what if in order to get your loadout, you had to like spend essence or like scrap somewhere. Like what if you actually didn't start with your loadout in zombies? You actually had like just a pistol, but you know, maybe you need like 5,000-10,000 points to get your loadout somewhere. I don't know if that's a solution that would maybe help this problem a little bit. But I think what Tyler's getting at is that there needs to be some tension in the gameplay again. And getting rid of that minimap makes you feel a little more uncomfortable. When I have a minimap just showing me where everything that I need ever is, like I feel a little too comfortable in a brand new zombies map. I need them, like that needs to be a way in standard mode. In guided mode, yeah, put a minimap back, and you could even make it more useful that way. But and perhaps even in standard mode, like you start with a pistol, but you got to go buy your loadout if that's what you want. But that's the other thing too. If you didn't want your loadout for whatever reason, you could actually choose to spend that money on like the mystery box or a wall weapon or whatever. I feel like that's a decent compromise somewhere in the middle. But yeah. The hard part has been like getting a zombies map to feel like you're a bit uncomfortable because you just feel way too powerful every time a match starts. And look, I know they have the rampage inducer. That doesn't really change anything.
Like, no. So back a little bit more than what you said before as well, with like the laser barricades. You know, the perfect implementation. Recently I've been watching a lot of old zombie videos where people like play a map for the first time, and I've just found it really fascinating looking back at the reactions. One of the perfect reactions I saw was someone that played DE for the first time, and they went up to the starting room of the Rise and Drag, and they could like see Jug, but that door's not buyable, and you can't get through it, and they have no idea what to do. They're like, Jug's there, and then you've got to figure out how to open up the entire map to then get back to that point to buy Jug.
Yeah.
And like, that's perfect. But even with Terminus that we played, Jug was like 2 rooms from the starting room. Like that was it.
Yeah. No, so I don't know if you were there, but I think you were. I was talking to Kevin Drew about Jug specifically. Like I had a conversation with him about Juggernog because like in just like you said, in like older zombie games, Juggernog was always placed in a spot where like it kind of like teased at you to try to find it. And it was also always in a spot that you kind of had to sacrifice something good to get it. Like it was always behind a door that if you didn't open might be a good like holdout spot for a while. Like think of like town at the top of the staircase. There's only one entrance the zombies can come through. That's a pretty good place to hold out. But if you buy that door, then the zombies come in through the right side. But if you don't buy that door, you don't have Jug. It was always in a spot, again, risk reward, but it was like always in a spot where you had to give up something valuable to get Juggernog.
Yeah.
And Juggernog just seems like it's kind of placed wherever now, without much like forethought into why it's there. And similarly, another problem is that Wonder Fizz, like nobody actually buys individual perk machines anymore. Everybody stacks points, goes to the Wonder Fizz one time and just clicks through all of them, and then that's that.
That's what we said when we were there.
Yeah.
Well, you talked about Juggernaut too, Chop, is with the plate, you don't even really need it.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing is like Juggernog is not that. I don't know if you want to say that zombies had crutch perks. Like, you know, what was looked at as the crutch perks in the old days was like Jug, Speed Cola, Double Tap, basically. That's what more or less everybody used. And I get that they don't want. There was a whole like era, specifically like the Blundell era, where they didn't want Jug to be like a crutch perk. That was the whole like Black Ops 4 thing, which I didn't like for other reasons. But um, in modern zombies now, armor is basically what Jug was, and I think that even manually plating in MWZ and in Black Ops 6 now, I don't I don't know how I feel about that. I want to ask you, Pizza, like your opinions on the armor
Yeah.
system and plating and everything, because that's been another like tricky, like the thing in MWZ, they have the golden armor plate. And I was
Yeah.
telling Kevin Drew, I was like, that thing is so good. I literally never want to play the game again without a golden armor plate. And it works like Jug because it restores your health over time. That's what the whole appeal of Juggernog was in a way.
Yeah.
And that's just the replacement for it. So I never want to. It's like I never want to play zombies again without the golden armor plate. But I don't know if you have
Yeah.
any strong feelings about like manually plating versus picking it up automatically, or just the armor system in general.
I think that armor shouldn't be a thing in general, but we've moved on past the point of no return now. So I'm not a complainer anymore. I'm someone that
Sure.
just has like looks forward and like it's here to stay. So we just make the most of it. But I prefer old school. Obviously, I think having Jug it should be a thing. I like having. I don't want it to be 2-hit, but I like the days of 2-hit without Jug, and then you have to go and find it or you're screwed. Um, and plating up feels like your video that you did the other day, where it's like it's the Warzone effect coming into zombies, and zombies used to be It used to be like the odd child that everyone like enjoyed to do, like have on the side, but now it's turning so mainstream. It's turning hipster,
Hmm.
and it feels like I don't know. I don't like playing up. I don't like it. I don't know. Someone did give me a really good example of why plating up's good the other day. I can't remember what it was, but it was like because it's manual instead of applying it, then there's a benefit. But I can't even think of one.
Hmm.
Um,
Well,
do
the
you
thing I
think?
was talking about in my video was like, I think the armor system kind of takes away the what used to be really difficult in older zombie games was like your positioning and how you maneuver the zombies to not get hit. Like that
Yeah,
was where the skill part was like you had to be very careful about how you move around, how you train zombies.
Yeah.
And the manually plating thing is weird because yeah, number one, it doesn't really feel like a zombies thing that has become so like Warzone. Um
yeah,
but also the whole point of plating, as far as I'm concerned, is a battle royale mechanic. When you get shot in a BR game, I'm not even just saying Warzone, but like when you get hit in any BR game, I used to play a lot of PUBG, and the thing with PUBG was like if you take damage, you have to use like a first aid kit or a painkiller or a bandage, and they take a
Yeah.
long time to cast. So the whole point of that is like you need to try to like find a window or pick the right time or get in the right position to afford to be able to heal. You want to buy yourself that time. In zombies, it doesn't really like you don't need to hide from the enemy and find these windows to heal. Like it just doesn't really work the same. Um, like that's a mechanic for a battle royale, not for
yeah,
a tower defense wave-based survival game mode. Even in MWZ, I can see manually plating being a little more reasonable, but even then I don't love it. But to me, it makes no sense in round-based zombies, the more I think about it. I
mhm,
think putting the emphasis back on movement and positioning being what is the thing that keeps you alive or dead is where the most satisfying like core gameplay of zombies can be found, in my opinion.
yeah. No, I fully agree, and I think that I have no problem with Cold War to some extent, like where it manually plates you and you just go over it and
Hmm.
it's on. You don't have to play up. I think that that's fine, but it's taken away from the immersion of zombies when you actually have to start playing up. You
Hmm.
know?
Hmm. Yeah,
I
I
think
don't.
this. I agree with you guys. I think plating up is something that Warzone just bleeds into everything now. It's crazy. Like I feel like even in the campaign, it bleeds into it with just the mechanics and so many things of parachuting off of buildings and using the same exact mechanics of what you would do when you dive into whatever map you're playing. I don't know. It just seems like that's their baby right now. And but I think a lot. I don't know about you guys, but I just feel like the Warzone scene in general seems to just be it can't recover. Like it just keeps slowly drifting lower and lower and lower. And it's like, okay, rebirth spike. and then it
Yeah.
drops, and then it's like, I mean, there has been one update on El Mazrah in 1 year of the big map. So I don't know. It's their
Like-
baby, but I feel like they're not really doing anything to show that it's their baby, if that makes any sense. Besides
Well,
bleeding into other game modes.
Sure.
Yeah.
And this is something I observed that like pretty much what you're saying is what happened to PUBG. It became massively big and successful for a long time, and then as time would go on, it would just gradually, very slowly decline. There'd be a spike somewhere when like a new map would come out, and then it'd go back to where it was, and then a spike, and but it'd be on this gradual decline, and that's fine. I think Warzone at some level it'll level out and it will retain its core player base. Warzone will always have a core player base, but like what I'm most interested in is why does the influence of Warzone have to bleed into zombies? Is their goal to get Warzone players on zombies? I just don't think that really works. It's certainly not to get zombies players on Warzone. I don't think that's going to happen.
Well,
But
you
I-
said that though, didn't you say that they were trying to make it this one big fluid experience?
I mean,
do-
that's what it sounds like from their goals overall.
Yeah.
Is to we want everybody playing all the modes equally with their friends as much
But
as
that's
possible.
never
But,
been like, again.
I don't
I
think
feel
it's
like
ever
they
been how it
bring
works.
these stats out, but I don't know. Sometimes I feel like you can have stats, but the stats don't actually tell the truth. Like it's
and
been
especially the way that
since
you interpret them can be very different. Like I don't think when you look at any YouTuber and y'all know this, like you can look at basically any YouTuber and assign like a thing to them, like they're a zombies guy.
Yes,
or
exactly.
they're
I
a
was just about to
Warzone
say
guy.
that.
Not
Yep.
that they can't do or don't do other stuff, but they have like they've got a primary thing that you like know them for, recognize them for, and I think that in a smaller way applies just to like just regular players playing the game. They have like a thing. Everybody's got their preference, and I don't think the general Call of Duty player plays campaign, multiplayer, zombies, Warzone equally. I just don't
Not
see that
even
happening.
close.
No.
So
No way.
I don't know what the motive is to make zombies like Warzone. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Um,
don't see that either. The last time that I can even think back to where everyone played every mode is probably Black Ops 2. Like
Mhm.
I have
Yeah.
massive fond memories of playing all the zombies, playing multiplayer and playing league play just constantly.
Mhm.
And then when BO3 dropped, it was very split. And I don't know if that's just because BO3 zombies were so immersive that all zombie players just wanted to do that. Like I still went and got Dark Matter in MP, but that's all I kind of played it for, just to get the camo. And then I was kind of done with MP then on BO3.
Yeah.
Even though it was all right. But and since then I've really not done much MP apart from just in my spare time, casually playing.
Sure.
It's really odd, isn't it? Like how everyone's kind of like gone their separate ways. And I see what they're trying to do, and it must be something to do with a new engine that they just want to try and get everyone playing every mode, and every mode feels slightly the same.
Mhm.
I don't know. Do
And-
you like
and
the new engine? You're a fan?
That's what I'm a little conflicted on. The thing that's very positive that I will say about Black Ops 6 is like despite it being on their new like Call of Duty proprietary engine or whatever, like they did the thing that I was most concerned about in a good way is that they still made it feel and look like a Treyarch game. First and foremost, Black Ops 6, I think we can all agree, feels and looks Treyarch.
Yeah.
It's got
Yeah.
that slightly plasticky look, a little more cartoony than the average Call of Duty, and
Yeah.
that really works for me. That's great.
Saturation is how I
Yeah.
like to look at it.
Yeah.
Like a lot of
For sure.
saturation. I love it. Yeah. And the MP was great. I really enjoyed the beta. Really
Yeah, me
fast
too.
paced, Treyarch arcade style shooter. It's
Mhm.
what I like in an MP. What I always have liked in an MP. So yeah, BO6 is good.
Okay, so that's something I wanted to ask you about really quick. Before we'll go to the beta in a second. The one thing I wanted to ask you
Yeah.
was, what I mean, given that you are who you are, what are your current opinions and your perspective on Gobblegum in Black Ops 6, especially with all the changes that they made and ones that we know are coming and stuff? Like, do you think Gobblegum are going to be as impactful or I don't know what you might call special or usable in Black Ops 6? Like, do you think they're going to be quite as good in this game
It's
as they were in BO3?
it's an interesting thought, really. Like it's hard to say because on the release of Black Ops 3, we were incredibly limited. There wasn't that much going on with Gobblegums at the launch. And even though we had like what 30 maybe Gobblegums available, like no one was massively into using them that much, if I
Mhm.
remember correctly, just because, it took a long time to earn them. And now they're
Do you like the
incredible
new
for
system where like
replayability.
round based you get them? Like, do you like that?
Where you just earn them by going
Yeah.
up through ground. Yeah, I prefer that, I think. It was always nice having a little bit of a gamble with liquid divinium, right? It just keeps you on the edge of your
A
seat. But I
little
think it's
spin.
I think it's better the way they've implemented it in this. And I think in terms of possibilities, like you can activate 3 Gobblegums at one time. Like there's gonna be so many different combinations you can do to break the game or do some crazy stuff. So I like that. I like that kind of stuff. So for me, it's brilliant. Like I'm really, really excited about it. But in terms of will they be better than Black Ops 3? Well, it'll be the end of the season that we find out, the end of the whole cycle, and it'll come down to one thing, in my opinion, and that's replayability. If they add certain ones that allow you to just replay the game over and over and over again, uh, that's the
What
play.
what what kind of gobblegum add replayability in your opinion?
Anything that was mega OP, but they have to wait. You can't just I'm genuinely quite annoyed that we're getting raindrops on launch. I think it's far too OP for a launch Gobblegum.
It was
But
on launch
I
on
thought,
Black Ops 4 as well, wasn't it?
no, maybe I don't think it was. But I didn't like that system. I barely used the elixirs, and even when I
Yeah,
replay it now, I do classic only because they did what I don't like. There was
sure.
far too much OP from day one. BO3 did it perfectly. Like throughout the whole of the DLC season, we got slowly little things like shopping free. I think it was DLC 1, and then like all the mega crazy stuff was with Chronicles, and that adds so much replayability. The game's kind of dipped down in popularity by that point, and then they released stuff where you can flip rounds and
Mhm.
stuff where you can like get every drop on the map. Like it's great. That adds the
So
replayability.
so
But
what you're saying is like you kind of want like Treyarch to have a very like a canon way to play the map and experience it, and then
yeah,
months down the road, new Gobblegum will get added, giving you an incentive to go back and try out these new things on older maps. You could even do that with like Easter eggs. Like if they were to add new Gobblegum, but also be like, hey, there's new shit on Liberty Falls or something. Like there's something new to discover there alongside this new Gobblegum. Go figure it out and have fun. I think that would be a very solid incentive to go get people replaying maps. That is fundamentally
exactly.
what replayability is in a way.
Yeah,
Like I you can tell me what you think about this, but I feel like I've boiled the idea of replayability down to like two categories. You have a game is replayable because there's new content, like there's new stuff to do, or it's replayable because game is fun. Just like the gameplay is fun to engage with. And
yeah,
like those are kind of the two sides of it. If they're going for new content stuff, then yeah, new side Easter eggs or new little things, new gobblegum would help add replayability to old maps. And they could certainly go that route for making Black Ops 6 like infinitely replayable, just like Black Ops 3 is essentially infinitely replayable now.
yeah. The best we've ever had is IW, in my opinion. The end of the DLC season, they have a massive boss fight at the end after replaying all the maps again,
Yeah.
but with director's cut on, where you spawn with a full perkaholic, 25,000 points. You're cutting out the boring part of setting up every single map, but you don't have to do it. You can still spawn in wherever you want and play the map traditionally, but you cut out the boring segments and just get straight to the chase with the Easter egg and whatever guns you want. And that's what should drop at the end of the cycle, in my opinion. Like stuff like that adds replayability.
Hmm.
Maybe that's with what loadout should have been, where at the minute you can load in with whatever you want. Maybe that's a super Easter egg reward at the end of Black Ops 6 should have been. You
Mhm,
get to
mhm.
spawn in with whatever gun you want on
Like
any
the
map
super
at any
Easter egg
point in
in
time.
Cold War, it had to do with your loadout, but it was just changing your gun from
Rarity.
base rarity to like purple,
Yeah.
and it was like
And you know
that
what?
was
It
something, but
adds
it's like, yeah.
Yeah, it adds to replayability. I will never turn that off. And every time I play it, I use it. So it does have replayability there, but it's not exact. It's one of the worst super Easter egg rewards, in my opinion.
So
But
what would you like to see out of a super Easter egg in Black Ops 6 if there was one? Like something like
IW,
a director's cut?
to- toggle on, toggle off director's cut. You don't have to use it, but spawn with a full perkaholic instantly, 25,000 points, and just go and do the Easter egg or any map the way you want it, super, super quick. On top of that, the one that we were supposed to be getting on BO4 is pretty good. Like every pack-a-punch instantly just go, you can toggle it on and off, just instant mega pack-a-punch. You don't have to do it 3 times. That's kind of cool. You just have tier 3 straight away. You know, there's just rewards like that, like a purple rarity. I mean, it's not even legendary. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? At least
they
just
went
getting,
almost all the way, but didn't give us the thing that
yeah,
like what difference does it make, you know? Like that should
yeah,
have just been
exactly.
legendary as
It,
far as
I,
I'm concerned.
I
That's
can't
kind of
believe there
funny.
wasn't more that they added on. Like they could have just given us to spawn in with 3 armor plates or just anything, but just a
Yeah,
purple
yeah.
rarity. It wasn't exactly great. Fine, but
Do
That
you
would be
have
kind of cool, like a 3 armor plate system. Like you start with that, and then once
yeah,
they go, they go. Like you can't refill, like you can't refill them, type of thing.
yeah.
or just like
I mean,
starting with like a vest of like 3 armor plates, right? Like you don't have to go out
yeah,
of your way to buy it. Like you just have the vest like from round
Yeah,
1.
yeah.
Um so that's something. Yeah, I wonder what they're going to do as far as like super Easter egg is concerned in Black Ops 6. Do you have any strong feelings on like the bottom left of the Black Ops 6 HUD? Because you played Terminus and you know what it looks like. I mean, I'm sure you also have seen like what the HUD looks like when you're in the Mangler suit, where
yeah,
you actually get like a
yeah.
cool looking health bar and a character portrait. Do you want that to be like the default HUD? Because now, if I
Yes.
have one thing that I would change about Black Ops 6 that I feel like is a fairly easy fix, it would be that.
Yeah, I agree. I need to have my character on the bottom left. I need to see who I'm playing as visually, as well as hearing the quotes.
Hmm.
Because you know, if they're doing what they said they were gonna do, which is they've done this for storyline purposes, and we're gonna have more dialogue instead of intel to teach us about that story, then I need to see who I'm playing as. And I know that you get used to it, but I want to see it. I can see who other people are playing as in a co-op game,
Yeah,
and that's the easiest thing to do in my opinion. And I think that the HUD it is an issue for a lot of people. And I think that it's where we started seeing a lot of people be negative towards zombies, you know, starting in Black Ops
sure.
4 with that HUD. Now, looking back, that HUD wasn't that bad. I
I don't
think
know
it's
about that.
because, well, I think it's because the HUDs now look Warzone. And I know that we've touched on that topic, but it's just there's slowly different characteristics from zombies that we're seeing less and less of
Hmm.
on the screen. I'm praying that we get legacy HUDs, as in, you know, you
Like you
can
can put on
literally
like a
pick
like an Origins HUD or something, or like a Mob of the
exactly,
Dead HUD. Like I pointed
exactly.
in my video yesterday. I was pointing out how like Origins and Mob have different HUDs, and they're subtle. Like they're subtle. They're not crazy different. Like they're not
No,
different colored or anything. Very subtle changes, but they are unique, and it's
Yeah.
like that actually goes a long way. I think of
it adds a lot to the map, and that's what I always wished we got throughout the whole of like Black Ops 4 and Cold War, and even with Black Ops 6. That should be already in with the development of every single map. But considering that we know it's not the case because we played these maps now, I do want to say that I am more than happy to spend $20 on a bundle that comes with like the camo of an old map and the HUD of an old map and like a calling card of an old map. You know, I'm okay with that because I would
Mhm.
straight away put on if you got the pack punch, like let's say you bought like a Zetsubo no Shima bundle, you got the pack punch camo from Zetsubo, and you got the HUD from Zetsubo.
Mhm.
And I don't know. I don't think Zetsubo had a normal HUD, did it? I think it was just the DE one. But
It's not totally out of the question though, because they've done like music pack bundles where you could like in Modern Warfare 3, you
Yeah,
could
exactly.
buy
yeah.
the classic Modern Warfare 2 main menu music.
Yeah.
Um it that brings up the whole question is like, is it right for them to like paywall a better HUD? But
Oh,
I
I'm
mean
sure
like
that'll go
No,
over very well if they do that.
yeah,
no, it shouldn't be. And it should be on every map, like I said, but I'm not gonna say that if they didn't put it up in the store, I'm not gonna buy it because I
sure.
totally will.
I see what you're
But
saying.
it should be there just in general.
Yeah. Maybe that's what they're waiting for. Like we haven't really seen much of the customizable HUD thing yet. Someone like I saw like a leak, like somebody found it in like the files or whatever, and it was like an unfinished version of it. But it's pretty much just changing like the size and positioning of the HUD. You can't really
Mm,
like change the actual like art of it, as far as we
yeah.
can tell. But maybe we can later. We'll have to see about that. I wanted to talk to y'all both about the beta. I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts because I haven't talked to y'all since then. Um, how's the beta been for y'all?
Oh,
I
you take this one.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, I have not played a call. I probably played this beta more than I played the last 2 Call of Duties combined. Um
Wow.
that's how, not that MW3 was a bad Call of Duty. I refuse to say it was a bad one. I know it got a bad rap, but there was just something about this game being brand new maps, brand new guns, brand new movement. It was just everything was new for me, and there hasn't been an experience like that, and I feel like forever. I feel like maybe even MW19 or like Cold War was kind of the last time I felt like it was a new, because Vanguard was kind of like MW19's engine, but like kind of tame, and then MW2 just kind of, I just kind of ignore it like it even existed. And then MW3 was kind of like a MW2, what MW2 should have been, like plus old maps that we played 3,000 times. So it's like there hasn't been an opportunity to learn. And even Cold War, you know, the maps people were playing by the end was raid, standoff. Like it wasn't, nothing was really new in that game. I remember, didn't that game launch with like 6 maps or something really bad in the beginning?
It was a very low amount.
And like a couple of them were the strike maps or whatever, where I didn't even play them, like the boat one. So like I'm just trying to think, the last time in my head that I had to learn new mechanics, new guns, new maps was probably MW19. That's 5 years ago. Like, so it just kind of blew my mind when I thought about it like that. I'm like, wow, it's been a long time. We've been looking for this for a long time.
Yeah. It's a great beta for me. I think the MP is really good. Like I said before, it's very traditional Treyarch arcade shooter. I have not had as much fun since Cold War. I enjoyed Cold War MP a lot, and I enjoyed playing with my friends. Even though I went through a weird stage in my YouTube career where I didn't post zombies for 2.5 months when MW2 launched, and just streamed MP for 2.5 months, and I had a really good time, but it didn't feel like the MP that I know and love. Like,
yeah,
What do you guys
BO2
think
is
about
still the
Omni
best.
movement? Like,
Interesting. I managed to get some insane clips. It's usable in MP, absolutely. And when I was really like stunned when they said to us that they designed parts of Terminus for Omni movement, because we played for an hour and I literally didn't use it once.
yeah, I kind of felt
so
that.
we'll see what they mean by that. See if they were hinting at a side Easter egg, maybe with like PhD from somewhere, and I don't know. But yeah, there was definitely nothing in zombies realistically, in my
Do you feel
opinion.
like we ever go back at this point, and like Call of Duty does not have Omni movement? Like, do you think this is here to stay?
me.
Yes.
I think it is too. I think it's, but I don't know, because I don't know if you guys have heard the rumors with MW2 or I'm sorry, not MW2, Infinity Ward. They I promise you, this is, I don't have any facts to back this up, but if I were to be a betting man, they have issues with like the way Activision wants the game. It's no way it's not saying you're gonna put Omni movement in this game. It can't. It has to be the reason. It has to be.
Yeah, I think it's here to stay. I don't think it's like War running on Black Ops 3. I think that was a gimmick. Same with AW with jetpacks.
Sure.
This is, this is 100% here to stay. The amount of marketing they put behind it, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
even when we played Terminus early, they were like, don't speak about Omni movement that much. Like, we'll get
Yeah.
to this. And they were never like that with War running or jetpacks. Or
Right.
anything like that.
I
So,
do think it's like a fundamental, like, base layer new thing for Call of Duty. I'm just gonna say it, I love it. Like, Omni
Yeah.
movement has been genuinely really refreshing.
Yeah.
It's given me like a new like skill curve to try to learn. It fundamentally changes how I think about like an FPS game. And I was telling this to Tyler like, a couple of weeks ago, but I was like, God bless the kids that are starting with Omni movement, because they're going to be omega cracked. Like,
Oh,
if
yeah,
that's
they're
how
gonna be
you're
insane.
learning an FPS game, because we kind of have to unlearn like linear movement a little bit.
Yeah.
How many times did you
But-
guys dive backwards? Because I had to think in my head, okay, I can now run back and dive back.
Yeah, honestly, not very often. I feel
Yeah,
like
not on the
the thing that I was using a lot was like the side slide. I
Yeah.
would like constantly slide left and right, and that seemed to work for me. But I didn't really, honestly, didn't really sprint backwards very much. Didn't really like dive backwards at all. It was mostly just forward and side movement, and then maybe occasionally sprinting backwards, but not very often. But I loved it. I think Omni movement is genuinely the best thing that, as far as like base mechanics go, that they could have added.
Yeah.
I have nothing negative to say about Omni movement. I love it.
It's got the
Yeah.
jetpack vibe of not jetpack, not the negative connotation with jetpack, but it's that new mechanic of learning how to operate your player And I think for the most part, I've seen pretty positive. Like, there's, of course, there's your people that are complaining because they unfortunately just can't keep up anymore. But like we talked about, Chop, like you don't have to play like that. You can play, aim down the sight, sit in your corner, and do your thing. And I think that's why Black Ops 3 did so well, because you could play jetpacks and you could also play boots on the ground.
Yeah. That's always been the Treyarch staple, and I've definitely noticed that in this beta. Like in Black Ops 6, you can play however you want, and it's perfectly viable. But there's always a counterplay to every kind of play style as well, and you can get really creative with how you move. I'm as far as Omni movement goes, I think that's probably their biggest victory. It's been great.
Can I bring something up? I'd like to. Are we still talking about Omni movement? Because I
no, go ahead, man.
Okay, so I'm guessing you guys saw the news last night. I was trying to poke and prod around Treyarch devs at COD Next, but they're taking away our campaign early access. And I want to know your guys' thoughts on this, because I think, I'll just go quickly. I think it's a horrible decision. I don't know what, like you said, what's the marketing strategy here? Why didn't they have Terminus instead of, Liberty Falls? And why are we not giving the campaign early access to people who pre-order the game? I know you can cancel can you cancel the pre-order? That's what I heard the rumor was. MW3 was so bad, the campaign, that people canceled their pre-orders. But maybe that was people that didn't play it, right? Because you can't play a pre-order and then be like, oh, never mind. Like, it would probably just be from watching, maybe, like people consuming the campaign and go, oh, never mind,
and then hearing about it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's because of that, but also at the same time, I don't think Treyarch is going to deliver a bad campaign that people are going to cancel pre-orders over. I actually think it's going to be pretty good. And maybe I have two thoughts on this. Mostly my content creator brain is just saying to me that, like, it's a bad idea because I would like to play and digest the campaign before launch, so that when launch does happen, I can just fully focus on zombies.
Right.
The normal, like, player brain on the other side, though, says, like, it's kind of cool, like, when a Call of Duty game comes out and you just have, like, almost an overwhelming amount of stuff.
So
to
many
get into,
options.
and you gotta pick. You gotta, like, choose. There's always something new there, and so from a player perspective, I think it's cool. I think there's a lot to get into just to get this big package of, like, all these different experiences. But my content creator brain is like, I would like to, play and digest all of the campaign before launch and focus on zombies. But that's pretty much my thoughts on it.
Yeah, I'm exactly the same. I will not get to the campaign for months because I'm not getting early access to it. With I think, was it only last year that we got it early? That was it.
No, it's two. I got 2 years in a row.
MW2 and MW3.
Yeah.
Right. So I managed to play all the way through those, and they're the first campaigns in years that I managed to do. I went to an event, luckily, with Modern Warfare where I could play it early, and I played the whole thing early then. But yeah, I'm not going to play it for months now, and it's something that I would really like to play as well, because Treyarch.
But you just can't find the time for it, and, like, just
not at all. I'm going to be constantly, like, grinding zombies, and, like, even when I have time to do other stuff, I'm going to be doing the camo grind for MP, and, like, just so much work to do when that game comes out. But I'll find time eventually. But they should have totally allowed us to play it early. Also, I do fully understand why we're not playing zombies early. That's another thing, because that was apparently, like, a leaked rumor months ago.
I don't want to how that got started. That was crazy.
I know, but you don't want to spoil stuff. Like, we will get so much stuff coming out of the game files straight away, and leaking Easter eggs and stuff like that. That maybe they're worried about that with campaign. That might be it.
I mean, the campaign cutscenes already leaked. I'm sure y'all.
With no sound,
with no audio.
Right?
Yeah,
I didn't watch him. I didn't
either. Like, I saw it. I wasn't gonna look at him, but I saw that
why would you watch it
with no audio? So dumb. The thing. Here's something I want to ask you is, obviously, like, we comparing it directly to Cold War, back to zombies. We have like that game just launched with D Machine. We had one map. And you could argue that map was fine, but it didn't really have the depth as far as, like, side Easter eggs go to really compete with anything else. But in Black Ops 6, we have Terminus, which, in my opinion, is going to be kind of like a spiritual successor to D Machine, and it's just going to have more stuff. And then we also have Liberty Falls on top of that, and the fact that we're getting DLC 1 before 2024 even ends. Like, because I'm pretty sure we got DLC 1 of Cold War in like February or something.
Yeah, Firebase, and it lasted like
Firebase
6 hours.
was like months after. So as far as, like, launch content and more specifically post-launch content support. Like, what are you wanting, or what are you expecting or hoping to see them do as far as like content delivery? Like, what would be a reasonable amount of content per month, let's say, that
Yeah.
would justify like, good support on zombies?
Them coming out initially and saying Terminus has the most side Easter eggs and secrets we've ever seen in a zombies map. That helps because
Mhm.
I have this mental feeling that Liberty Falls main quest will get solved in like 3 hours, and Terminus will get solved in like 6,
Sure.
maybe 8 at a push, and then I get to stream for a solid week after I've done an Easter egg guide, discovering every side Easter egg in the game. So that gives me a week and a bit worth of content. It's not much, but but I've always stood by the fact that I think that if they could just not do that, if they could go, we've got a main quest and 5 Easter eggs on the side, and then each week we're gonna put 1 Easter egg in, and then you can go out every Wednesday 6 p.m. Go. Like they
Mhm.
set a time and your game updates instantly, like 2 gig update, and it's a brand new Easter egg every single week. Like I'd be so happy with that. Can you imagine the amount of people that run out? It's like an Easter egg hunt every single week, even for a small side quest.
Well, that's what they
It'd be
were.
so
That's a lot of what they were wanting to do on like Black Ops 4. Like, like Jason then wanted to have like Easter eggs on Ancient Evil that would develop over time. Like, it
yeah.
wasn't something that you solve right away. It was like it would be added later, but it kind of like it plays out over time, kind of thing. So I think there's definitely room for that, and I think the key is not only adding new maps and content, as in the form of gobblegums and whatnot, but also if they can literally like retroactively add new secrets to older maps, dude, that will get people hunting forever. Like,
No,
like
absolutely.
if there's even like a little thing on a zombies map that people haven't found,
Yeah.
they're not going to give up. They're going to be
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
People are determined. So it doesn't even have to be anything super crazy, but give people a reason to get back on these older maps. I think that I'm not expecting a map a month. That's crazy, but I
No,
mean,
no.
getting our first map before the year ends, and then maybe getting another map in like February, late February,
Yeah.
maybe early March or something. That's To me, that's a reasonable pace of content to come out.
How many did
And
Cold War get again?
Cold War has, well, it's tricky because Cold War has D Machine, the launch map. DLC 1 was Firebase Z. DLC 2 was Outbreak, and you could say that Outbreak is more of a living game mode. It's not really a round based map or whatever, but DLC 2 is technically Outbreak, and that was kind of like what got updated for a few months. And then DLC 3 would be Mauerder Toten, and then the final one was Forsaken. So
Okay.
4 round based maps plus Outbreak.
And technically we got Dead Ops as well, but
Yeah, sure. Dead Ops 2.
yeah. I think it
But
was 3. Was it 3? Dead Ops
or
Arcade 3?
yeah, well, I was saying like Dead Ops as well.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, so yeah, Cold War ended up with like 4 round-based maps,
Oh,
and
that's, I
I
mean,
mean
that's
we're already gonna have 3 on Black Ops 6 before the year even ends. So I do think we'll end up with more round-based maps for sure compared
I
to
think
Cold
so.
War by the end of the year. There's no way we don't.
Yeah.
yeah.
So are you worried at all in so far as like, because Treyarch is allegedly also making the next game, do you think that's gonna hurt the like the post
Well, you
launch
saw,
support
did you
of
see the
BO6?
tweet? Did you see the news today?
Mm-mm.
Um,
What happened?
apparently, which I don't know if this affects zombies or not, but let me read this tweet so I get this proper. But Charlie
Sure.
Intel tweeted that I believe Treyarch is taking some of Sledgehammer's maps from this year.
Wait, what?
Let me double check this.
I've read
Yeah.
that before, yeah.
Rumors have suggested that MW3's final seasons have had a lower amount of 6v6 maps because Treyarch reportedly has taken these maps for Black Ops 6 post-launch seasons.
Interesting.
So that would tie in with your theory of they're doing the next COD. We need help with the maps. Well, we're going to take these because MW3 player count has to be decent, but like it can't be great. Like, I feel like nobody talks about that game.
I mean, well, it's just the point of the cycle where that game is in the sunset now. MW3, I'm just gonna put on record, had
The best post-launch
multiplayer,
support maybe
the
ever.
best post-launch support, not including zombies. That's a different story. But as far as like MP goes, the best post-launch support ever. They killed it. But that is kind of true where like now they kind of have to scramble to figure out, okay, well, we need help from somewhere because if they're making not only Black Ops 6 and supporting that through the year and post launch, MW3 is in its sunset. Like season 6 will get players, but
Yeah.
not as many as like season 1 will, you
Right.
know? So of course they're not going to put as much like effort or content into that if really not as many people are going to play it. Makes sense, but like is the same thing going to happen to BO6 where like near the tail end they're going to kind of like shortchange it because they're needing content
For
and
the next
effort
game,
and
yeah.
resources for the next game, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
That's the only thing that like I'm a little worried about, and I don't know if you feel the same way, but I don't know if you had any thoughts on that.
I think we've always seen that throughout the cycle. Every final DLC feels rushed. Like no matter
Sure.
what. The only time that we've ever had some kind of reward on top of a rushed map is Mephistopheles with IW. Like
Yeah,
even
and it
if you
was
look
a
at
rush map, yeah.
Revelation, you look at Revelations with Black Ops 3, like everyone was disappointed with the boss fight. Like,
Mhm.
that felt rushed. And then with Cold War, like Forsaken's Easter eggs like 12 minutes long. Like it's every single map that we've ever got last is felt rushed. Um, but I don't know if you've heard the rumors. There's two rumors, so I don't know which one's real and what's not. First rumor is that the next year's game isn't Treyarch anymore. It's now Modern Warfare 4, which I'm sick to death of Modern Warfare at this point. I can't be bothered with it. The other rumor is that next year, if it is a Treyarch game, it's 100% going to be open world to begin with zombies, and that's where we get like the sequel to Outbreak.
Okay,
Wow.
so
I heard the
I
Infinity Ward one. I did hear the Infinity Ward one.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's funny because they literally said they are done with the Modern Warfare. I think that was like kind of confirmed, right? They're like, we do not want to make another Modern Warfare. But
Yeah.
then they kind of ended Modern Warfare 3 on a cliffhanger. So I'm not sure. I don't know
Yeah,
what that
yeah.
studio's doing. Infinity Ward, if you ever listen to this podcast, I'm sorry. I always rip you, but we got to get it together, man. That we gotta bring our ideas. I don't know. We gotta do something. We gotta
I
do
think
something.
and I've also heard this similar thing where like if it is indeed a Treyarch game, I've heard that Zombies is going to be like the successor to Outbreak. I don't know if they would do any round-based content on that game. I mean, I guess we'll see. And also, the thing that I wonder, if it is a Treyarch game, are they just going to call it Black Ops 7? Like, it would feel
Well,
a
it's
little
supposed to be a
silly.
sequel for 2, isn't it? Like Black
That's
Ops
that's
2.5.
that's what I've heard.
I mean, yeah,
So
and it's like in a what? Yeah, so I feel like it would be kind of silly just to call it Black Ops 7,
I
but
don't think it'll be 7. I think it'll be like, do you remember the PSP game that was like Black Ops
Black Ops
Declassified?
Declassified,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I think it'll be something like that.
Or like a Cold War where it's like, yeah, it's the 5th installment, but they're calling it Cold War type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then with MW4, if that does end up being the next game, like I would be shocked if next year's game is Modern Warfare 4 for a couple reasons. Number one, like as far as I can tell, they're having a hard time even developing on it right now. But number two, where do you even go with that game? Where like seriously, where do you even go? Because you got like the damn worst ending we've ever seen in the Call of Duty campaign. And not
Yeah, but
only that,
hey, listen, at the
but
end
they
there was the
retconned it. They retconned everything. It's like Soap and again, I don't know if like operators are canon to the story. Who knows anymore? But that's kind of the point. It's such a mess. Like, is Soap alive? Apparently, like, s- so that whole funeral was like like a fake thing. Then like it's a joke at this point. Like they've lost the plot. So they either do Modern Warfare 4, but it's a totally different story thread, or they somehow try to continue this goofy ass narrative that it's flown into. And I don't even know where you go from there. I really don't.
listen, I don't know where they've been going the last couple years personally. So I pray it's another well, I also do understand from a perspective of like they're not getting enough time too. So I worry about that. Like, okay, we just made a game. Now we got to make another one. But
Sure.
I think I'd rather have Treyarch on one leg than Infinity Ward lately, personally.
Yeah, no, I agree. Fully agree.
Um,
It feels like Infinity Ward have just kind of lost their identity over time, and it's just like you said before, where it was like, what would Modern Warfare even be? Like if they were doing Modern Warfare 4, it would be remastered maps again. I can't even think of anything else that it would be
It's
apart
like
from just
what would you even
remastered
do with like
maps.
the campaign or the narrative,
Dude,
Like
no idea, not a clue.
I
The
don't
only way
know
you could
either.
a prequel or a sequel that is
Yeah.
20 years in the future.
Yeah.
They made Call of Duty Ghosts 2, basically.
I can see it happening. Yeah, absolutely. That's the next move, which I think is stupid. I think that they should do something completely unique. Or I don't know. You can't go IW, can you? You can't do a sequel to IW.
I don't. I think that the jetpack. I mean, listen. I've told Chop. I would love a jetpack every maybe every 3 years. But the game after or the game before gets supported. So like, hey,
Yep.
if you don't like jetpacks, we got you. Like this game is going to be getting supported the whole time. Don't worry. Stay here if you like boots on the ground. Like a Black Ops 6 Year 2. And then, hey, here's a jetpack COD as well. Honestly, I know that it was like I don't think they enjoyed the way it happened, but I really enjoyed when it was IW and COD 4. I know they hate the split player base, but
Yeah.
I thought that was nice.
It was
actually
refreshing,
Yeah,
at
it was
least.
like, wow, I can go play a jetpack COD, or I can go back and play COD 4. You know they got an MW2 remastered, so give me
Yeah.
give me an IW2 and give me MW2 remastered and let us play. That's also another thing too. I feel like sometimes I think that they're waiting to drop that MW2 remaster because they shut down that mod so
They shut
quickly.
down H2N,
Like,
so it's
like
their
is
play to,
that in
hey,
the near future? We just don't know.
But they
Uh,
can't. Like,
It's
not
got to
that
be
they can't, but
outdated.
it would be silly. Number one, okay, because yeah, it is kind of an outdated game. But also, bro, like we had MW3.
Yeah.
Modern Warfare 3 is just those maps. You know? Like
Yeah,
that would be if they just released Modern Warfare 2 remastered, that would feel insane because they just did that with Sledgehammer's game. Like
Yeah.
I don't know what you do about that because they kind of that was their moment to make the MW2 remastered maps happen, and they did it. You can't really do that again.
The
I mean,
only
you
thing I
can,
can
but it's not
think,
the same.
dude, Microsoft owning, they might do like a Master Chief thing where it's every card remastered.
Yeah,
they would
it's
print
all on
money.
Game Pass.
They would print
Yeah.
money.
All on Game Pass, but there's bundles.
Mm.
And dude, insane. Like everyone would be going back and playing. Like imagine a remastered like of every zombies map or even every MP. Like I'd be grinding like the original Modern Warfare trilogy again, just MP.
Sure.
And same with Black Ops. Like that's the only thing I can envision the reason why we get these things taken down. Because like you said, that Modern Warfare 2, when it was all rumored that we were getting a remaster of it, dude, I don't even think you could release it now. It looks so old. Like
Yeah.
I don't even know what year that was. Like graphically, it's gone. Unless they can figure out how to update what they've already made.
Man, even the remaster is kind of outdated. Like
Yeah.
they released the campaign remastered, and it looks good, but that came out in like I don't know what, like 2018, 2019, something like that.
Yeah.
Even now, that's on older generation consoles. Even that remastered port is kind of outdated.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know what you do about that. I don't think they should release a Modern Warfare 2 remaster for the simple fact that they already did it in Modern Warfare 3. Like that was that moment to do it. So it would feel silly for them to do it again. But if they did like a COD MCC, maybe
Oh
I
my
could see
gosh,
that.
that would be amazing. I'm not gonna lie.
It'd be huge. Actually massive. I think that would actually bring COD back to like the forefront of video games. Like I think it would bring back that whole BO2 era where it was massive and everyone was playing it. Everyone had an Xbox 360 and playing it, I think it's gonna come back to that if they did that.
I just don't know why they don't see that. I mean, I do like that I feel like with Black Ops 6, I do wish Black Ops 6 would have been titled something else, but I think now they just know that it prints money when it's a Black Ops. I do miss when there was that little section of time where it was Infinite Warfare, Advanced Warfare, World War II.
Yeah.
We had
We are
like some ghosts. It wasn't
We're
based on
pigeonholed into
somebody.
Black Ops and Modern Warfare.
Yeah,
now.
yep. And
I don't see
you've
them
even
ever
said that.
deviating out of that.
Yeah. Yep. You've even said that. So I wish it was a solution to that, but I don't know. And also the MCC thing didn't really work out for Halo at the end of the day. So it was broken, it was
MCC had its
buggy.
own
It
problems,
put Halo
yeah.
in even in a bigger hole. So it's like maybe they're just like, well, maybe we just avoid that.
Yeah, that's things like when you're talking about like Microsoft looking at MCC, I almost feel like they look at MCC as a red flag instead of like we want to do this for COD. I feel like they look at MCC and be like, let's not do that for Call
Yeah,
of Duty.
right.
I don't know if that's their thought process, but it's an interesting thought experiment of like how that would actually look and play out of, what exactly would entail. Would it have the same kind of like vibe and player base that it had in the past? And, would zombies maps be the same and all that stuff? So, I mean, we are yet to see the actual effects of the Microsoft acquisition.
Yeah.
I feel like it'll be a few more years till we really see that like acquisition have a direct influence on the game, but we're getting there. So the next couple years should be very interesting, to say the least. But
Yeah.
as far as Black Ops 6 goes, I'm excited. I think the game is going to be solid from just about every angle. And if we have nothing else to look forward to for a while, then hopefully, I don't know if I won't call this like Black Ops 3 2, but
I was
mean,
going to say,
Black
do you
Ops
think
is
it's going to be
lasting
multiple
forever.
years with this bad boy possibly?
Man, it could be. And I wouldn't like if Treyarch was making the next game. I know they won't do it because again, it just prints money when they make new games. That
Yeah.
was the MW3 thing. But I wouldn't be opposed to them actually doing like the premium DLC year for Black Ops 6. Just continue to update that game. If you got a really solid foundation, just update that game. I know it won't print as much money, but damn it, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the game is going to be massive. I think what I've been saying to everyone that asks me this question, like, is it going to be as big as Black Ops 3? And I think it's completely relative to like how you
Your
look at Black Ops 3's success. Yeah, like
Yeah.
in terms of player base, I think it will have more players than Black Ops 3. So is that a successor? Maybe. Do I think all the maps are going to be as bangers as like Shadows of Evil and Horizon Dragon? No, because it's going to be so hard to do that. But I think in terms of player base, the amount of people playing it, and I think more importantly for us, I think in terms of video views, and I think in terms of people watching streams and stuff, I think it'll be bigger than we've ever had it, potentially. I know the peak we've ever seen in our community is like 125,000 watching an Easter egg hunt.
On Revelations, yeah.
Yeah. And will we ever see that again? Probably not, just because the Easter egg hunts were huge then. But I think in terms of overall videos, I think that, you're already seeing the effects in our community of getting more views now. And yeah, I do. I think they're going to achieve what they want with crossing people over from MP and Warzone to play zombies at, not massively turning into zombie players, but playing it more than we've ever seen before.
Yeah.
So yeah, a huge year ahead, I think. But like I said, we'll see.
Chop, is that all you got for today?
Unless there's anything else you wanted to ask or unpack, that's pretty much all I had.
Man, I think we covered a lot, to be honest. And we are at 1 hour and 2 minutes.
I love that.
That's perfect.
Do y'all have any final thoughts on Black Ops 6 before launch? Is there any expectations or just anything that you would change before the game releases that off the top of your head that you can think of?
Oof.
Go ahead.
HUD.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think what we said about the HUD, I think that's
Me too.
a main concern for me. I just need it to look more zombified.
Yeah.
Having HUDs from the past are great, but it surprises me, man, that they're not doing this. Like they put so much emphasis on. They said when you complete an Easter egg on a map, your reward is based on the visualness of that map. So you'll get a skin for your wonder weapon that looks like Terminus or looks like Liberty Falls. So I imagine like vines going across your wonder weapon or whatever. Or like if you're playing Terminus and they said like your calling card, like surely you can unlock a HUD then. And the visual, like they're talking about visual aspects of maps. Why not have that on the HUD? It might be something to do with the engine that they're struggling with. I don't know, but
also given that the HUD is so customizable, it shouldn't be that hard. Like, that's our biggest thing is something that is, as far as I can tell, easily fixable. Like, we're not asking them to remake Omni movement from the ground up. It's just, hey, I would like the HUD to look a little different.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. Like,
I don't think that's crazy to ask either. I really don't.
That's what I was saying. I was like, that's kind of a good sign when, again, when we're talking about it. When my biggest complaint is the fact that I hate the way the HUD looks, it's a pretty good sign. Like, because I don't really have any other major issues with a lot of the game, but yeah, that's the biggest thing for me. What is there anything for you, Tyler? Like anything that you would change?
I think mine's mainly zombies, and I think is because I do want to dive into it. I think I'm not going to repeat everything, but it's the same thing. Starter pistol, stuff like that. Little small changes, honestly, not anything crazy. And I think it's the same thing with multiplayer. The changes I'm asking for aren't crazy. I did a review and I thought like Scud, which was the satellite map. The satellite itself was I don't mind the power position. I just think that there's only like the guy's eyes you can see from the head glitch. So it's like, bring that down so when you're sitting there, your whole body's almost exposed, or like your half of your body, and then you should be able to like walk up the satellite. I don't know if you guys tried to walk up the satellite. You can't. You can't do that. And it's like, how is this not possible? Like, this is such a power position, and the way you mantle in the game is a little slow. So you got to walk around the thing, mantle up, and if the dude's like knows what he's doing, he'll just be like, all right, well, here's this guy. Like, that's another mechanic that I wish they kind of would get rid of. I don't know if you guys use it at all. The mantle up and like the pistol peak.
Oh yeah.
It slows down mantling so much and nobody uses it. Like nobody. Yep. So I think there's got to be something where you could turn that off. That would be great. And I think the maps need a little bit more like saturation. I think Scud would help with some blue sky. Like, let's avoid the dark. Black Ops 3, I just remember so much because of how vibrant every single map was and how fun to look at it was. So, you know, I get the standpoint of even the Battle Royale map. I mean, we played that and I'd looked at Chopper and I'm like,
it was so washed out.
Oh my gosh, the thing looked like it was like, how do you want the depression? It looked like depression. Map. Like if you look at the dictionary definition of depression, it's like the picture of that map.
It looked like Octane on Ghosts.
Oh my God.
Yes, exactly. I played Ghosts the other day for a video. That is the most bland game I've ever played in my entire life.
Right, the colors. It's just the colors of it. I don't understand why they made it so terrible looking, because there's a DLC on Extinction that is so vibrant.
Yeah,
they could have had color in
there. That big bright. Yeah, it's crazy. It doesn't even like belong in the same game.
No.
Who knows, man?
So yeah, just some small stuff. You know, mantling, animations. I felt like connection. Obviously, there's the little small beta stuff that obviously will hopefully get itself ironed out. But I feel like Treyarch has always struggled with connection. So it's not like people must just be new or they're not paying attention. Look at the hit detection in every Call of Duty. Look at BO2 to Ghost. Ghost was 100 times better. Look at BO3 to IW. IW was 100 times better. Look at BO4 to Modern Warfare 19. 100 times better. So I think Treyarch's just kind of...
It's kind of part of what makes a Treyarch game feel
like
a Treyarch.
It really is. It really is. So I'm like, well, you know, I obviously put in a request, but, you know, I don't know if it's going to be something that can be fixed that quickly. I think we'll see packet loss a little bit this year, to be honest.
Sure. Yeah, I think so. I mean, it sounds reasonable to me.
Yeah, nothing too crazy. Just a little. But that's like, you've even said it, Chop. If that's what we're complaining about, if we're on HUD, we're in for a good year.
Hey, we're in good shape.
Yeah.
You know,
saturation in the clouds. Saturation in the clouds. That's good. You know, if we're talking about that.
Yeah, I'm like, I want like a deeper blue in the sky.
It's right. Like, okay, I think that's good.
We're fine. Overall, yeah, I enjoyed the beta too. I mean, I've played basically all of the game at this point. The only thing I haven't really played personally is campaign. But I've played every part of it, so I'm looking forward to playing it more at home. I've enjoyed like the hell out of MP, and I know like zombies we've picked at it a little bit, but I still enjoy the gameplay of that. I think the gameplay is extraordinarily fun. So I think we're in for a good year, and I'm excited to get my hands on more.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, I guess that's episode 20 right there. I mean, that concludes it. We really appreciate you coming on. We've only had like 2-3 guests, so it's kind of cool when we get one. I enjoy it a ton.
No, I've loved it. It's always good to be invited to something where just talking is so easy and it just goes so fast. Like, I didn't even realize we've been here for an hour.
I love talking Call of Duty with other people. Just straight nerding out on Call of Duty, man.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
No, and we really do appreciate taking the time, and like, you know, like obviously, like if y'all have been around, like him and I go way back. We've made content like for years together, and it's really cool to do a bit of this new format together. And you are absolutely welcome back on the show anytime
absolutely.
at all.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'd love to have you again at some point, and I'm sure the comments would too. Y'all can let us know. But,
yeah.
yeah, I think that'll wrap it for today then.
Episode 20. Just to make sure you leave a review. We keep pushing the reviews. Spotify, you're doing a great job. Apple, you're kind of, come on now. We got to wake up again. Follow us on Twitter. All three of us. We'll put that in the description. We'll put our YouTube channels down below. So make sure you follow, watch our videos, all that good stuff. But that concludes episode 20. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye-bye.